Because if you notice, if you look at the exhaust on the back, they were spewing flames. If you throttle up too early, it'll do that.
Wait, 1 sec. Let me pause. Sorry, I can barely hear you. Let me turn up the volume.
I watched your startup, and you were spewing flames out the back. Usually that's because you throttled up too early.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if you overheat your engine, it will literally just spew fire.
Oh.
But it's okay now. Usually you can get away with it, but the engine temps are modeled now, and so is burning it out. So, well, I try not to do that in the future. It increases your life expectancy. Alright, so let me go ahead and get mine started up. Also, your radar altimeter is on, yes?
Say again?
Your radar altimeter. You know how to turn that on?
Where's that? Oh, sorry, I need to turn up your volume again.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, say again?
Okay, so your radar altimeter.
Where would that be?
Alright, so if you look center directly in front of you, off to the slightly below and to the left of your tachometer, there's a little circular gauge right in the middle of your cockpit. And it's got
Marker beacon.
FTX 100. It's feet by 100.
Oh, hold on. Could you say everything again? I really cannot hear you.
You might want to turn down your game volume.
Yeah, sorry.
Go
1 sec. Alright, say again?
Alright, so middle of your dash, like not middle of your sight, but the middle of it. These kind of stamped there, but it's a circular gauge. Says feet by 100, 2, 5, 10, 15, ABS and alt on it. Got 2 knobs on it.
2, 5, 10, 15.
Yeah.
Center dash. Hold on. 2, 5, 10, 15.
If you need any more help, you know where your hydraulic control power is? A little switch for that?
Yep. Yeah.
Straight above that.
Oh, 2, 5, 10, 15. Yeah, I got it.
Cool.
Yeah, I see it.
Alright, so that is the display for it. Now, there's 3 things you need to do to turn this thing on. First, you need to set a low altitude and a high altitude. That's the low is the knob on the left, high is the knob on the right. Personally, it doesn't particularly matter, but you need to bring the low up, so it'll actually start reading it. I usually put it up to that first big dash, so it's like, a couple inches up the gauge. And then the high, I bring between the one at 90 degrees and the one at 180, if that makes sense. So that would indicate.
Where does the high go again?
I typically put it like about. You see where that 90-degree line is?
Yeah.
Yeah. The next big line over that. So that's probably like 120. But I actually measured in degrees, but I'm having that indicates 150 feet.
150, right?
Yeah. That would. Wow.
Okay, and the low is 50?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Basically, that's it. The reason I do that is because 50, that's about too high for sling loading, and 150 is just generally dangerously high if you're in a hot LZ or a hot area.
Got it.
And then if you look overhead panel in the very back of it, there's this lone switch. Flip that up. That's your radar altimeter.
Got it.
Cool. And you should see a number displayed as soon as you turn on your inverter, if you haven't already.
I'm seeing low, LO, and with a 0.
The 0 is how many feet up you are. The low just means you're below what your low threshold was, which we are.
Ah, got it. Alright.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started up myself. good. Okay. One other thing we need to do. Your compass, right in front of you. We need to calibrate that. So you have your magnetic compass on the right. Just make sure that they're pointing to the same number. You'll notice as you move your compass in the top right, there's a little circle or an X that'll appear. When you see half of each on either side, you've got it lined up. Just remember that'll show as accurate if you are 180 degrees directly behind the way you're facing as well. So just double check here.
Got it.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So that's set. We have a radar altimeter now, and yeah, you can arm your flares. You know how to do that?
Never used it before.
It's okay. Right by your left elbow, kind of in the back of that center panel, you'll see a little flare arm right below the LED. Just flip that up. And then you can, to the left of that is a manual little like flare counter. You can just bring that up to 30, and that'll count your flares for you.
Got it.
Cool. I'm not going to bother teaching you radios yet, because that's all SRS stuff and all that. Make sure you're fully throttled up. Alright, so the first thing you want to do, as far as flying goes, is just kind of be able to hold a power check, which is basic, like, 5-foot hover for a couple seconds before we move out. To take this thing off steady, it's okay. You'll apply a little bit of left pedal, stick back, and to the left. Reason is when you bring up your collective, the Huey has a tendency to yaw left, so you need a little bit of pedal to counter that. It'll also go back, so, or sorry, it'll go forward, so stick back and to the left.
Stick back left, yeah.
And
I've seen it, but
pedal
I
left.
still couldn't do it precise enough, though.
It's a very small amount on both. What you want to do is very slightly bring up your collective, just gently, just a few degrees every time. And just see what the helicopter does. And adjust your controls accordingly. Like, I know it's up a little bit, so I'm going to bring my stick forward a little bit. And keep raising it. And then you kind of feel it, and you bring it up. That was a little sloppy, but I'm not.
Trying. 1 sec. Oh, too much. That's sloppy. Oh.
There you go. Good.
Trying. I'm trying.
No, you had it.
This is not easy. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's fine. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. Pilot-induced escalation. But, I know that thing.
But you do that enough, and you start to get a feel for it, you'll be able to do it faster. But no, that's good. Right there, you're doing it. Yeah, you're drifting a bit, but you're going to. You're learning. Okay. So now, just go ahead and I'll come out in front of you, and I just want you to kind of hover taxi behind me. I'm gonna go up to the runway. All right.
I'll try my best.
No, it's okay. Yeah, don't worry about messing up. This is hard to learn. Like, I had to sit down for a few hours when I learned it just to get this part right. but
Yeah.
it's okay. Just
And
keep it slow.
I think I need pedals that twisty sticks is not gonna cut it.
Yeah, the Huey kind of needs it. But you know, Hitman and well, Hitman used to. Canon does use it. Don't worry about it looking pretty or being perfect. As long as you stay kind of close to me at about the same height and without overtaking me, you're doing fine.
Yeah, got it. I love ground effect though. Makes it easy.
Yeah, it does. And I'm a bit rusty in the Huey myself, so, you know, I'm not going to be perfect right now. Alright, then use a little bit of right pedal. And kind of drift around the turn. Doing okay?
I'm still behind you, ish.
Okay. Good. Let's see. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of lift off. So nose down a little bit, increase your collective, and add some left pedal. The more you increase your collective, you'll have to add some more left pedal to keep yourself, you know, steady.
Yeah.
Because of the Huey's tendency to yaw. Gently bring it up, and then just kind of level out around like 70 or 100 or so.
I'm up.
Alright, so we're just gonna kind of fly around now. We'll do a little like lap around the edges, so lift up a little bit more, get a pitch forward. Now I want to try and get us around maybe 80 knots.
80 knots, yeah.
So there's a few gauges you want to watch while you're flying. Above your cyclic, you've got your vertical speed indicator.
Yep, I see.
Flying level, you want that at 0. Of course, you're probably not going to be able to get that perfect. That's okay. As long as you're within the first, like, 3 notches up or down, you're okay for learning. There's going to be some drift, but that's okay. Above your left knee is your slip indicator. When you're flying straight, you want that ball to be right in the middle. That means you're flying straight on, no side slip, and you're flying efficiently.
Yep, got it.
Okay. Then, of course, you have your speedometer. You already know where that is, I assume.
Yeah.
Alright.
Huh. It's just like flying aircraft a little bit.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and bank right and add right pedal. And then increase collective a little bit to keep yourself, like, on the same altitude. If you watch that vertical speed, you'll learn how, you know, turning affects your altitude. Just increase or decrease your collective appropriately. Keep yourself about on par.
Got it.
And then just kind of turn out of it. And then make sure your ball's back in the middle. Bring down your vertical speed. And you're good.
Got it.
Okay. Now, one very important thing to note in the Huey is you don't nose forward too much. If you do, you'll mass bump, and your rotors will go flying, and then you'll just, you know, die.
Yep.
You can't do anything about it if your rotors are gone. If your engine's gone, that's one thing. Alright. So, to slow down, you simply nose up and lower collective. Try and keep, and watch your vertical speed, and try and keep that as close to 0 as you can. Increase or decrease as you need to. Nose up. It's called flaring. Now, you'll notice that your cockpit will start to shake around 20 knots, maybe a little lower. That's normal. Just increase collective, increase left pedal, and it'll stabilize, and then you'll be going, you know, you'll be stopped.
Oh. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. One sec. Alright, trying to stabilize.
No. Good. You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you cross below 20 knots, it's gonna start shaking. Now, shaking it is a sign of VRS, but in the Kiwi, when it slows down, it literally will just do that.
Oh.
So, adding, like, when you just, you want to try and add collective a little bit before you do that. Give it that little bit of extra lift so it stops doing that.
Yeah. I see it. Right.
Now, something you're going to run into on landing as well. That's okay, then. Alright. So, you're not doing too bad. So, now we're just going to go ahead and try and land it. First, follow me, and I'll take us to the spot.
Got it.
Assuming I can find it. It's okay.
I'm still too used to jet flying syndrome where I advance my throttle too quickly.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. But you're doing okay. It's not gonna come naturally. It's something you gotta practice. And for me, how it was is I couldn't manage everything at once well. So I could only manage maybe like my speed, or my altitude, or whatever, right? You have to manage speed, altitude, slip, you know, all that shit, right?
Yep.
But as you go and you practice more, you start to get a more natural handle on any one of those things. Like, you might be able just to keep your altitude steady first. Maybe you'll just be really good at keeping that slip ball in. And you'll practice that, and that'll become more natural to you. Like, it'll be muscle memory, you won't be thinking about it. But maybe the other parts that you will. But eventually keep practicing, and that becomes second nature too, so you can worry about other stuff. Before you know it, you're multitasking. You kind of do all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose it's similar to flying an aircraft, just much harder.
It's all about learning it. I can tell you though, having someone to teach you makes it way easier.
Yeah.
Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and go for a 180. Gonna keep it kind of, you know, easy. Trying to find this one farmhouse, because like their little farm is like perfect size for a practice LZ. I'm trying to find it somewhere around here.
Has it got fences around it?
Oh, it's right below us.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, that's the one. So on landing.
Oh.
Here, go ahead and kind of get about where I am, but face that farm. And try and balance it as steady as you can. Don't worry about being perfect, just keep it in that ballpark as best you can.
Alright, 777. Alright, I gotta lower my... So turn 180 around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm way too high. Just one second.
You want to get in a good observable position for that little, like, landing zone. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna kind of show you how I do it.
Alright. Turn around.
Slow her down.
Is this one I'm looking at, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. It's... I thought it was gonna be RS for a bit, so that's why I panicked.
If you're
on it or next to it?
just where you can see it, so you can watch me land in it.
Okay. Alright.
And try and keep her in the air. Now, with the Huey, your hover position is not all control centered. It's just like it was when we took off. Bit of left pedal,
Yeah.
stick back into the left.
Yep.
And then you just kind of balance everything the best you can. If you're looking down, you won't be able to. It's way harder. What you want to do is look more towards the horizon, and that makes it easier. Oh, hey, you landed. Oh, hey. It's okay.
A little rough.
Alright. So...
Alright, I'll watch it.
Go ahead and F2. Yeah, so... If you want to be all official, what you want to do is you want to make a lap around the landing zone. That way you get a more three-dimensional view of what you're getting into. Your landing zones aren't always going to be flat, and there might be a bit of slope to them, and that's going to affect how you come down and how you touch down. So, I can see here, from this is a pretty flat zone. Okay. So I'm going to come in like I've got some speed as well. So I'm going to get a little distance. Oh, I'm not expecting you to get all this at once, obviously. I'm just going to show you a little bit of everything so you know kind of how it's all done.
Yep.
So I'm going to turn around. Bit hard there. Coming in. Alright, so you want to keep yourself steady. You want to start lowering speed and altitude. And the idea is you want to come to about a hover either at or a little before it. Not be perfect. Bring her in. And then let it down.
I see.
Take off. Same way. Just like that. Now you can also try to cancel your momentum a little more harshly and do a faster landing. It's a little harder. No, that's how it goes. Also, I find when you're learning, it's easier to land sideways. Like, it just is. I can't really... I think it's just because you have a better idea of how much you're flaring and all that. But for a while, I did all my landings sideways. I mean, which isn't really a problem, because you can just do this shit.
I think it's easier sideways because you lose your speed more.
No, you lose it. Well, yeah, maybe. I think it's more of a visibility thing, though. That's the thing I appreciate the most with it.
Huh. I see.
But redirecting your momentum like that does help you lose speed pretty well. Remember, you can kind of skate around in circles and shit.
I see.
You're not always coming from a, your thrust pushing you forward. Your thrust is just kind of pushing you. And your cyclic controls which way that's, which way you're getting pushed. That's why I can kind of do this. And it's all good.
I see.
So I'll clear, then you go ahead and take back off.
Alright. Do you want me to hover, turn around and move off, or do you want me to...
Hover, turn around, and move off. Flying straight backwards is generally bad.
Yeah, that's
especially if you're that low to the ground, because it's a tail strike, and you don't want a tail strike. So get a little bit of air, spin her around.
Oh, sorry. Alright,
Good.
lifting up.
Good.
Alright, I'll try to form up on you.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna turn around so I'm facing the LZ.
Wait, where did you go?
I want to say where you went.
Oh, I see, I see, I see you now. Yeah. Wait.
So we're behind me and I'll do it again. Kind of come in.
I see you.
Which way you do it doesn't really matter as long as you come to essentially a stop right over the LZ, you can bring it down easy. What you don't want to do is fly your aircraft into it. Because then you just die. Or you land too rough.
Alright, let me try to lift off again.
Yep.
Oh, oh. Alright, steady and go. Okay, pulling away, getting some distance.
Now, aim for that crop, okay?
Which crop?
If you'll see it when you're higher in the air, but it's their little bit of farmland. I'm gonna land on that.
Alright, I'll see.
You see it? It's a little harder to see in the autumn than it is in like the spring. That plowed bit of land. It's directly on my right.
I don't see the crop, I don't see it.
Oh yeah? Okay, let's see, where else can I have you land? Let's see. Find you a concrete area. Here.
Oh, I don't know if it might be the reason, but I'm on low settings, so
That might actually be it. Okay. Alright. It's alright, we'll find somewhere else. Follow me. That'd be a target for you to hit. You know what? Runway will be good for that. Spin her around. You can see runway numbers, right?
yes.
Okay, good. All I want to do is set it right on the numbers.
Oh, shit. I'm gonna have to turn around. One sec. Nearly flew into the fence there.
Ooh, don't do that. Alright, I'm gonna lift off and head forward. I'm gonna center it on the numbers. It's okay if you kind of taxi in a little bit. That's fine.
Alright, turning around.
Yeah, get your skids down on or as close to those numbers as you can.
Okay. Nose up, nose up, nose up. Nose up, nose up.
Okay, you're good, you're good. Just push her forward and get over those numbers.
Yeah. Oh, no.
That's pretty close. I know you're scooching in more, but it's okay. You can wave off.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Don't feel bad, because usually people have killed themselves 4 times over by now.
Oh.
No, you're doing pretty well.
Alright.
Like, I know it feels scary, but you're doing good. Don't worry about it. You obviously have a long way to go, but for starting out, perfectly fine.
Yep. I see.
You alright there, buddy?
Yeah, it's very intense.
Yeah.
You know, every time I try to land, I just expect the whole helicopter to go whoosh and crash.
You're handling it well. Alright. So, we're gonna try that again. We're gonna go back to that farmhouse, and we're gonna come in. We're gonna land. I'll do it first. You do it behind me.
Got it.
And, like, if you touch ground, just leave it. That's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about, like, trying to scooch your way onto the numbers. That's not really the point. The point is to get you there when you hit the ground. Now, combat zone landings aren't typically that precise, but when your landing zones are tighter, they will be. And I'll show you some of the more, tighter landing zones in a little bit. So, I'll have you do a few runs on this, and get you that way. Well, also, I don't usually land from a very high altitude, for a number of reasons. One being simply that in a combat zone, height will kill you. You want to stay nice and low. I'm also doing a 180. Oh, here we go. A little sloppy. I lost a bit of speed harder than I thought I was going to. But remember, you don't have to have your speed be 0 and to be like a foot over the LC. That's not necessary. You can come in, you can keep your altitude a little higher, and then hover over the LC, and then set it down. Because trying to like have like those numbers be the perfect point of no speed, no altitude, and just flat can be harder than it looks, especially if you're doing it from a long approach. At least for me, that's harder. But
Yeah.
So you know, just the speed. As you know where you want to land, gently bleed your speed by doing what I told you earlier, and then just hop over it. Then once you're, fairly stable, like kind of a hover, that'd be perfect, just, as long as you're not moving much. And just gently set it down. And you've got your little attitude indicator in front to know when your skids are level. Ideally, you want that to be how they are when they touch the ground, so you have a nice, smooth, even landing. A little forward, a little back. That's okay as long as you're setting down gently, their skids momentarily. For a hill, think about the hill, think about how steep it is, and you kind of align yourself to that. Plop down more firmly. Keep in mind a hill will obviously affect how you take off. So, if it's a hill going up, you may want to add a little forward cyclic to keep yourself from, flying backwards, tail striking. Exactly. And vice versa. So you don't really want to land nose into a downhill. That's bad. All right. So we'll give this one more shot, and then I'll show you a little more of a confined landing.
Okay.
Sorry if I'm not completely on point. I have not flown this thing as much as I should have.
Explaining it really well. I'm just trying to cut the ropes.
Don't do that. Pivot around here. Tried to go for style points and I missed it. But, yeah. Now clear and you just set her down. That was a really good hover stop there. I mean, yeah, you missed your target, but the rest of it was pretty on point. Very on point. Dude, that was good. That was good. Alright, follow me. So how much have you flown this thing before?
1 hour?
For 1 hour, you're doing fucking solid, my dude.
Thank you. Well, not including this 1 hour that we're doing.
Right. And I'm not saying that just to make you feel better. I'm dead serious. You're doing good.
What is this?
Okay. So this little industrial area here.
Yep.
Is a courtyard that I like landing in for our check rides. I'm gonna fly. Can you see where I'm at?
Yeah.
I'm gonna fly over and dump a couple flares. Between the building and the street lights are where you want to land, like in the building's shadow.
Oh. I see. I see it.
Okay.
Yep.
So, remember what you want to do. You want to build yourself a mental picture of the place, so you want to do a little recon. So, we'll go ahead and do a quick flight around it.
Okay, I see it.
Now, how do you feel in where the obstacles are at? Some trees there. A couple of low buildings there where they shouldn't interfere as long as you don't overshoot. A street light. Well, you've probably got about 2 rotor diameters in there. So that's like me and Hitman. We could probably land side by side in there. Probably. So
I see.
now for a harder lane, you obviously don't want to be on approach at full speed, so you want to be going about 60 or less. That makes it easier. When you're below, I'd say 70, you have the most rudder authority you're gonna get. If you know Dyslexia, the Arma 3 pilot, because they call that the balance state, and that's appropriate. That's when you have the most control over your aircraft. Right now I'm coming in at about 35. And just gonna do my flare. I'm crossing into 20, so I'm at that hover stage. Gonna kind of guide it in. Maintain that hover in the shadow. And down we are.
That's it.
I'm gonna lift off and depart from straight ahead. And I'm out of your way. So, do your recon, pick an approach, and get it done.
Alright, copy. Way too high. We need to drop altitude.
Oh, you clipped something, and you're down. That's all right. You didn't keep your altitude as you crossed over those trees. They still a little low. It's okay.
I forgot I have a tail rotor.
Yeah, you do.
I was like, yep, I cleared the tree, and then something happened. I was like, oh, yeah, my tail. Alright. I'll restart and try this again.
Yeah.
Really intense.
And while you never really forget the principles of flying this thing, a lot of your fine control, if you don't practice it, you're kind of going to lose part of it. So, like people say riding the Hueys, or flying the Hueys like riding a bike, and I mean, they're right to a point. But all of that fine, subtle control, you gotta keep on top of that.
Yeah. Let's see that.
You may want to use the paddles on your throttle for your rudder.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Heard that works well.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Yeah.
That way it's not crossing over your stick inputs.
this access commands. Radar altimeter.
Yeah, you always want your radar altimeter on. That thing is critical. I know it's unassuming, but...
Yep. So low on 50 and then high on...
150.
150?
Yeah. I use that for my sling loading. Because the rope is 50 feet long.
Ah, I see. Alright. Between, battery off, radar altimeter off, and on. Okay, I'll see with using the throttle pedal first, and if I don't like it, I think I'll switch back to the stick.
Yep. Oh, one other thing that might help you is try to relax your grip.
Yep.
Light touch.